Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tug-of-War finale. Today I've got a 4 vs 4 on a waste of Shah with Roman 228, Vrex, Stranger, and me representing the Orc side of this war. I've got OMC, Dr. Nox, we've got Queb, we've got Necro Technica, and we've got Kuken representing the Astra Militarum. So if you've been following this campaign since its inception, a fair while ago, we've identified that the Orcs have won this campaign. They have indeed won 2 of the 3 setups. So yeah, this is essentially just one final game in the hopes that maybe the Imperial Guard can kind of claw some sense of, well, not necessarily a victory, but just not an absolute total wipeout. For the narrative, the Orcs are taking over the planet, and the Guardsmen have just got to hold the line while they're escorting military assets and civilians off planet. So we've got a little bit of an in-game rule at the moment. We've got basically the Orcs are not allowed to move out of their base for the first minute, and the Imperial Guard basically have to hold 2 out of 3 relics for about 6 minutes. Although, mind you, I don't think I've quite explained the game very well, as not everyone kind of follows this setup. And we do try and follow the rules, but eventually the game just kind of collapses into absolute chaos and anarchy. But that is the way of a last defense. So I thought, yeah, why not? We'll keep the recording and we'll keep it going. So I'm quite excited for this game at the moment. We do have the Deathcore Krieg and the Imperial Guard. If I actually know, this is double Deathcore Krieg holding the line in the middle. Obviously their bunkers will be a major boon for them. Got Imperial Guard over here sticking down a heavy bottle turret. Got the Orcs over here being sneaky, breaking all the rules, coming over here and setting up shop around over on this side. It has gone past the minute marker, so we are going to start building up our troops and thinking about moving out of the base. Stranger with his big mech having a look-see look, as well as the Slugger Boys over here. Going to maybe move over into the centre, or maybe down south, depending on where they go. I can't quite remember how I manoeuvred my troops around. But yeah, this is going to be the main problem for us. If you've already got double bunkers here, not entirely sure if the Orcs, with giving the Deathcore a minute of setup time, whether we've got the metal and stones to be able to kick them off our planet. Well, we shall try. Big Mech is going to lead a charge in. Bunker with 1 set of lads in already. In fact, actually, both bunkers are now being set up. And the bunkers do have a suppression slowing mechanic on them. So Big Mech will have to teleport outside there, which is a bit of a shame. Ideally, you want to use your Big Mech to teleport directly in. We're going to move some Shooter Boys and Sluggers down here for some capping purposes, but heavy bottle turret from the Kuken here will stop them. Not much pushing in from OMC Dr. Nox over on this side. Imagine he's had a little bit of a look at this big mech and thought, ooh, no. Not going to mess with that too much. We've already got 2 relics on the go, or at least about to be captured for the Astra Militarum, so no need to capture any extra ones. And once they capture 2 relics, they are meant to shout out that they've caught 2 relics, and then I start a timer on my phone.
Standing ready.
Going to try and poke and prod our way over here. We have got double Shooter Boys. Big Mech is now going to tentatively look in, but the listing personnel also got some lads inside it as well. Going to cause some serious problems for those Shooter Boys. We are adding some extra lads into our Slugger Boy squads. I'm going to focus down on this heavy bottle turret while the Big Mech moves around, trying to absorb the fire, and there we go, he is absorbing the fire from the heavy bottle turret and the listing post, allowing us to get some extra shots in. Tech Priest engines here causing us some issues, so we are going to swap our attention to him. Guardsmen losing their morale. Big Mech does go down there, and the command squad is going to blast everyone around. Stranger, oh sorry, not Stranger, Vrex. I'm sorry, he's sending some Slugger Boys in for good effect. Shooter Boys trying to take out that Tech Priest engine here, and they do manage to get him. But the heavy bolter is now back to more or less full health. This is a lot of material that we are losing in this engagement. Command squad still going in strong, and a Commissar as well, coming from the tunnels of these listing posts. And it does seem that the Orcs have been beaten back here. While this is going on, however, we do have Roman 228 coming in with all the Slugger Boys. Seems that he's broken apart OMC Dr. Nox without much worry. Well, they are being blown up by the grenade launchers from these guardsmen over here. They're going to ignore them. They're just focusing on trying to take out this field barracks. Also got some regular Death Guard soldiers. So not Death Guard, Death Corps. Whoa, that's a bit heavy there. Yeah, they're going to come in, shouting for the Emperor as they open up 5 of their las guns. infantry recruitment building is going to go down by the looks of things. Over here, the assault is continuing. We now have a war truck coming in from Vrex, which will at least be able to absorb quite a lot of fire. I've regained my big mech, going to move him in. Already in yellow health, but we'll keep it going. Lots of shooter boys. No big shooters on them though yet. The Orcs working together, as they are known for. Happy Orc friends. Going to push these guardsmen back into their listing post. Command squad still very healthy, but now they are tanking damage. Commander does go down. Priest, next one on the list, and that Psyker soon to be wiped off the face of this map. In fact, no, we'll jump inside the listing post. And even though we've killed a lot of guardsmen, the buildings are still online. We managed to take out a heavy bolter turret. And with more shooter boys moving into position, does look like we might be able to potentially get this. Over here we've got some storm boys coming in, going to mess with Queb's soldiers. HQ does go down, but I imagine, from what I can remember, if I can swap to him, he has rebuilt. So there we go. He's just started to rebuild. He's moving house essentially, surrounded by all the bunkers, and also gone for another field barracks. So he's quite safe. Although suffering economically, he has got a bit of blue money and green money to play with here. Storm boys maneuvering around the middle, being harassed by a bunch of minefields. The Orcs over here now finally getting a good setup, or at least now we'll be decapping things on the guardsman side, so their countdown for the relic has stopped, allowing us a bit of breathing room. The Storm Boys are going to engage continuous with their assault over yonder. So looking at the economies, 80 and 30, 98 and 30, 86 and 50, and 80 and 40 compared to 128 and 30, 56 and 30, 74 and 20, and 74 and 10. So it's not amazing economies either side. Got triple war tracks from Vrex. Oh, that rhymes, I like that. We'll be focusing on Kukin's listing post. He's just building up his lads at the moment, not going to throw their lives away unnecessarily. Mechanized command building up, ready to have some sort of counters going on. We do have Necrotechnica going to go for a Chimera or two. And yeah, Roman just absolutely wiping the floor over here. Absolute map domination over on this side. His economy is going to be quite disgusting as we go into the mid-game here. But the bunkers here, they're fine. No one's cracking up in this nutshell anytime soon. Infantry command being destroyed in its entirety. The Chimeras over here are now going to start defending. Imperial Guardsmen also going to move in for support. And this is a lot of Guardsmen. I haven't got any answer to the Chimeras neither. Doom being witnessed by these shooters. And because I don't have any of these things out front, they can't get a lift home. So they're reduced to having to walk back. And these Chimeras are able to keep up with them. It's a bit of a pain in the backside. More shooters now going to go for the big shooters, hopefully able to break these guardsmen a bit. It's a mass infantry and tank battle going on. But with the assistance of a sentinel, with a multi-melter, they do have the edge. They will make quick work of those war trucks. Now Kukin saying go, go, go. He's got the mass of tanks and infantry. Time to repay the favour. A little bit aggressive on this side. We do have Stranger now coming in with all the Storm Boys in the world, as well as a Killer Can from Vrex. They're going to move straight into my base. Absolutely unimpeded, no one to stop them. There was some tank buster infiltration research, and I imagine, there we go, double tank busters on the way. Tank busters might not have amazing accuracy, but they are your go-to when you want to counteract any Chimera shenanigans. They have taken out the boys' hut, but we do have one squad of tank busters out now, just about in the nick of time getting that infiltration research right there. That's quite useful. We'll be able to mop up these guys in time, but it will take a little bit. Stormboy's now reducing my frame rate to very minimum for a brief moment before then trying to prevent these guardsmen from decapping and recapping everything. They have got their... Have you got your power claws? You have got your power claw on your Orc Knob, so additional power for them in close combat, but with all these Hellhounds about, the morale is not going to stand very well. Stormboys, when they jump in, they're quite amazing with their DPS, but if they don't kill everything for like the first little while, then they do tend to fall quite quickly. Very glass cannony considering that they are an Orc unit. Yeah, Tank Buster's able to wipe out those Chimeras. Over here, one killer can. He's a killer can, not a killer can't, so he won't give up. But not really being used all that usefully there. Stormboy's now kind of swarming around this war truck. Not ready to jump in as of yet, looking for some additional support, but Tank Busters are moving in, being spotted by that Psyker. Although one lad just kind of breaking ranks, he's up in the middle. Stormboy's going to jump over onto the side, but then into the fire of a bajillion million Hellhounds. Stormboy's on the right hand side also going to do the same. Got a squad of Grots from Stranger going to move forward, maybe potentially looking to repair that war truck. Tank Busters on this side infiltrated, blowing up the Hellhounds as best they can. A scan from the Guardsmen though will reveal them. The Chimera and the heavy weapons teams with their auto cannons go to absolutely wipe out any Tank Busters left in that field of vision. And it's quite the slug, quite the desperate battle. No one side really getting any major victories here. I mean, yes, okay, the Hellhounds are being taken down, but the Guardsmen are still standing strong. And all we've got really is Tank Busters left. Maybe a squad of there we go, squad of Shooter Boys as well. But now these guys are going to go for their long lasses to allow them to get them a little bit of distance from the big shooters. I do believe that the long lasses outrange the big shooters. Yeah, they're going to fall back. Slight advantage now from the infiltrated Tank Busters being given to the Orc side here. Storm Chimera now with a Pintle heavy stubber and a whole smorgasbord of heavy weapons platoons now. War truck taken down. And this is going to look like some serious problems. We've gone quite heavy in the anti-tank department with these Tank Busters. But against a lot of infantry and some heavy weapons platoons. Quite a dangerous situation for the Orcs to be in. But they'll give it a go. Orcs will always give something a bash if needed. Sentinel, one volley from the Tank Busters takes him out. With a scan and a Psyker in their ranks, Tank Busters made short work, still manoeuvring around in the middle. Being seen once again, but are now in full retreat. Attempting to capture that relic was Stranger, but has been swatted away. I know an attempt is being made on the centre by the looks of things. Able to take out the listening post, but these Tank Busters unable to get past these mines. And more infantry commands, just more defensive structures in general. Gunter emplacement as well. Yeah, this centre will hold Basilisk from Queb. And over here they are reclaiming their economy by the looks of things. Just decapping all these points. Ready to get that economy on the burn. Fracture some mega armoured knobs. Should be quite the issue for the Guardsmen. And it all goes relatively quiet. What's everyone going to go for? Everyone's more... Well, Kukin is in tier 3 now, as you can tell by the little tower on top of his HQ. Going to build up an infantry command on the front side. Lots of Chimeras for Necro Technica. He's going to get some conscripts, that's what we like to see. Front line being defended by a wash of mass underqualified guardsmen. Some heavy weapons teams in the middle. I imagine they'll probably be wanting to have a look at keeping the centre and expanding from there. An expanding roster from Queb. Is it Queb or Qeb? I don't know. Either way, if we swap over to the Orc side, just so we could see this impressive just spam of tank busters. Some armed with tank hammers, some armed with just regular rocket launchers. All's got a Dakka jets. And yeah, they are in for some building busting action. No amount of chimeras, whether they are Hellhounds, Storm chimeras or whatever, is going to be able to stand up against this massive rockets coming in. Especially when supported by the Dakka jet. Now all the Imperial Guardsmen are going to come in for defensive reasons as the Orcs of Vrax and Roman 228 made their big push. Gross over here keeping these Dakka jets repaired, but they will be burnt to a fine crisp by these Hellhounds. Tank busters over here trying to get a nice flanking maneuver on these guys. Big mech moving into the middle, providing some vision for extra firing lines. But he's not going to do all that well. Manages to teleport just in the nick of time. 42 health left. Heavy weapons platoon's been dropped off in a very unfortunate situation. Might want to pull them back. But yeah, these heavy weapon teams over here not going to have too much trouble in opening fire on these tank busters armed with their tank hammers. Not able to get into close combat there. Over here we do have some guardsmen who were on capping duty. They're now in slapping duty by the sounds of it. It's going to be very unfortunate. It's been knocked around by all the rockets. But they are at least managing to distract the Orcs. They see a group of guardsmen think, oh, let's not bother using the elephant of surprise and attack some buildings. Let's just take on all these guardsmen here. Quite like that. Go and see a planetary siege. One squad of tank busters being an absolute nuisance in the middle. Tank busters, though, brave as they are, aren't going to make that much in the way of damage. Guardsmen now massing on this side. And we are looking to see if we can crack this centre. While all these lads, while the Imperial Guard are looking to show up their defences over here. Attack them where they're weakest, that's what we say. Going to move a good selection of shooter boys and tank busters over here. All's got a Mega Armor Knob squad in the mix, just for good measure. Vrax has got some flash kits. Got some grots over here doing a bit of scouting, but will be shot very quickly. Dakka jets moving in, see if they can get some flanking maneuvers, looking to destroy that Bassi, but will be crumped themselves. They don't get out of there. Managing to survive once again, just sliver of health, but then coming back for one more go. Basilisk goes down, these guys get the hell out of dodge. There we go, Roman 228 with the bigger mech shop. Potential for some big Orc units on the way here. The Guardsmen, they want to hold. They've got their double relics. And the countdown is on. I do believe that they've had it for quite some time now, so we need to crack this, or at least one of the nuts, fairly quickly. Do have a battle wagon on the way now. And here we go, a big push in the middle. Mega Armor Knobs on the front lines, going to absorb a lot of that damage. They are able to see these mines as well. So these will be quickly dismantled. One Lord General standing watch over the centre. He sees these Orcs coming in. He knows his duty. His duty is to hold this line, whatever the cost may be, and he will certainly give it his all. War trucks charging in. Turrets and bunkers opening fire. Flash kits being thrown out of those war trucks, or being exploded quite severely. We do have... Is there a Basilisk fire coming in? Yeah, one Basilisk knocking these lads around. Weird Boy coming in as well. Throwing some big meaty feeties everywhere. As quick as you like, this centre is crumbling. Need to get that decap there. While this is going on, the Guardsmen are coming in with a Baneblade and a Lehman Russ battle tank. Dakka Jet going to come in and see if they can provide some distraction. Stranger with a Luid tank as well. Over on this side as well, just full-blown warfare going on. All the guardsmen over here with their tanks and stuff, taking care of the tank busters. And we're going to let these lads try and take on this centre while we move over onto this side. Destroying everything. Does look like that the settlement will be going down for me. The idea was that the guardsmen weren't supposed to be able to attack past their relics. They were just meant to hold the line and defend. But Kukin kind of didn't like that idea and thought, sod this, we're going to go in. Sometimes the best form of defense is an attack. Vrax charging in with his Mega Armor knobs. These Lehman Russ battle tanks really putting the pressure on. This Baneblade already on half health at the moment. Quite a vulnerable situation, but my base is being taken care of, but I am building up back over here. Death Dread slicing and dicing these Ogrins. Was Vrax with his flash gates trying to also assist as well. Well, Lord Vendare heavy gunships storming over into the middle, having a look at Stranger's base. Death Dread going to go down in a flurry of fire. Did we manage to capture the centre? Yeah, we've managed to decap the... Well, we're about to decap the centre, which is something at the very least. Over here, more Canuck and Death Dreads, giving them the old axe handle smash. Oh, it's looking quite lethal on this side of the map, it has to be said. It's got a serious threat on the left from the Orc perspective, and a serious threat on the right from the Imperial Guard side. Stranger feeling a little bit down in the dumps. Do have a shooter boy squad for me. And that's all I have to my name, really. Just a shooter boy squad. But we're looking to see if we can maybe support our allies in a very specific kind of way. Lots of things being blown up now. Not very much that we could do. We've got to rely on Roman 228 with his big units. Means what? It's got a Battle Fortress, a Stomper, and a Morkanaut. Might want to bring them to our defense and aid at some point. Got a air tower coming in for Stranger over here. And yeah, 2 bases for the Orcs going to go down. But it's not all over. I mean, the Astra Militarum did lose 1 base very early on in the game, and they've held out quite nicely. So whether we can achieve the same... Oh, look at that big squig explosion from the gun wagon. And there we go. Relic on relic action. There's a full-blown, full-scale warfare going on here. Battle Fortress with its huge weapons. And Morkanaut very low on health. We will still charge in just to, at the very least, stem the tide of these guardsmen. Got my shooter boys here, moving around the battlefield. Only 4 of them. But they're going to do something, gosh darn it. And the Imperial Guard not looking too confident now. I've got Stranger with double tank busters by the side. Looking like they'll potentially take out this Baneblade, or at least remove it from the front lines here. Over on this side, a couple of Ragnaroks coming in. But again, more tank busters. And the Imperial Guard don't really have the vision detection to be able to sort out all these tank busters when they're on the flanks and skulking about. But the battle wagon taking a fair bit of a beating from all these Lehman Russes is going to have to fall back. Now it's the Stomper's turn to take point on this defence. Got a big squad of looters, sorry, 2 squad of looters here. Looking for the custom Mega Blasters. Baneblade on the cusp of destruction. Big Mega going to come in and try and punch it in the face. And will manage to... Oh, no, no. Oh, that is very unfortunate. Temporary Engines here just moving in just in the nick of time. Able to out-DPS that Big Mech just for long enough. Very emotional. Shoot boys of me. Well, I thought to myself, well, I can't contribute to anything else. I may as well come over here and see if I could just be a bit of a nuisance around the side. And in this engagement, we do have the Grotsu Khan So where my base used to be, no one's decapped things. So these Grots' mission is to sneak across the battlefield in the hope that they can get across alive and intact. For all this chaos and madness going on about them, moving between the legs of the big boys. Oh, this was fun. Bobbing and weaving between bullets. And look at them. Oh dear, oh dear. Where's my camera going? Managing to sneak past everyone as in the distance all the big orc units go up against this Baneblade. And they do indeed manage to sneak past everything. Morkanor, full health now. Although being stunned by the looks of things. Now primed and ready to give this Baneblade the punch above its life, but not quite able to get there. Lewis doing the job for him. And the guardsman finally been pushed back. Decker jets also sailing upon high. Over on this side, just to add insult to injury, the Vendetta gunships come in. Both heavy and light. Now going to be harassing our sides, taking out all our key structures. So yes, we might have been able to push back this huge amount of guardsmen here. But just too many avenues of attack do these guardsmen have. Stomper being brought back in the hopes that it can maneuver these guys away. Got one huge squad of slugger boys. He has gone for his unlimited number of sluggers research, I do believe. Yeah, the big Stomper not really doing all that much damage to these Vendetta gunships. This one will be taken down by the sheer mass of war banners. I'm about to lose my settlement by the looks of things. Over here, the guardsmen have finally seen me, building up all my stuff and saying, "Oi, what are you doing there? We thought we killed you." Battle wagon now have place, soon to be surrounded by this Chimera line. The Vendetta's over here, being shaken and stirred by this Stomper, also been repaired by the Grots down here. So their assault, while effective, and doing a bit of damage, not the death blow that they were hoping. But now the massive Imperial Guardsman line has been rebuilt. Lua's over here with the War Boss and the Killer Can, looking to destroy the centre. The Vendetta will come in and see if they can push them off. Gun wagon's been used to full effect, firing huge squigs into the middle of these units, instantly breaking morale with every explosion. To be fair, if I was a guardsman and I had exploding squig being thrown at me, I'd probably also not be too keen on that. Certainly harsh my mellow. Mine's now being used quite usefully, actually. They have blocked off the retreat path of this Killer Can. The Vendetta's able to get it down as well. Warboss now having to retreat past all these guardsmen. They will open fire on him and take him down very quickly. A whole mass of Ragnaroks and Storm Chimeras over here. Oh, and a Bombard as well. Hello, Bombard. The Stomper's still online. It's not been taken down as of yet, but I mean, this is a lot of tanks for him to take on by himself. Not sure if this is the engagement he wants. Vendetta gunships with their last cannons. Of course, I'm going to move in and see if they can repair him, but I highly doubt they'll be able to out-DPS the repairs or the damage coming in. Stomper does go down, sadly. Head falling off. And a Shadow Sword now wreaking havoc in the centre. Huge explosion, just absolutely crumping that gun wagon. Roman 228 throws out the GG, and let's be honest, this is the end of days for the Orcs. We had a really good stand, but the Imperial Guard do manage to take it. So yeah, even though, like I say, the Orcs have won the campaign overall, the Guardsmen, at least in the finale for this campaign, have, you know, they've shown their mettle. They've held the line, and in fact they've said, sod this line, we are now going to the line is wherever we stand. and where we stand is in the Orc base. So yeah, what we'll do is that I will... Tiger Shark has written another wonderful bit of narrative for the closing of this campaign, so I'll read some of it for you.
In the wake of the renewed Orc breakthrough, we decided to fortify our most critical sectors. After weeks of savage fighting, we barely managed to contain the Orc advance from Vestra on the indomitable Revelation line. No such effort could be spared to save Sidrai province. Instead, the High Command adopted a scorched earth policy, evacuating what factories and people it could, and burning what it could not. In the end, the final desperate defenders perished in a last stand among the atomized ruins of Roy Kaspar. Faced with ruinous battles taking the numberless bunkers of the Revelation line, the Orcs changed their strategy and simply attacked elsewhere. Using their recently gained rail connection, the Orcs redeployed entire armies for their new offensive. Novo was to face the main brunt of the attack, but a secondary thrust attempted to outflank the Revelation line. Caught off guard, we were routed. Though the Imperial defenders fought to the death on numerous occasions, Novo could not be held, and soon Orc tanks rolled through the famed Marble Avenue of Novo. Our soldiers soon regathered and launched a counter-offensive. A fierce battle ensued, and losses rose to unsustainable levels for both sides. It seemed only a question of time before one side had to give in. The High Command thought themselves on the sure path to victory owing to our superior firepower. However, in the end, things would turn out differently. A vast airborne incursion of Stormboys made a terrible raid into our rear. Everywhere supply depots were burning, while we attempted to both fight on the front and root out the raiders. The pressure proved too much, and our forces had to fall back. To alleviate the pressure, the grand offensive planned in the Eastern Plain province was launched prematurely. The massed armored formations of Plainspire made deep advances, but in the end, the forces to hold the territory were lacking. Those fighting had to fall back to more stable forward positions. The Orcs saw this as a sign of weakness and chased after us. In weeks of battle, the Orcs launched a relentless push into the mobile Imperial defense. Although the Greenskins gained territory with every attack, their losses were many times higher than those suffered by the Imperium. In the end, the Orcs had taken a great deal of sparsely populated fields at the cost of tens of thousands of tanks and armored vehicles. Their only true victory was that our forces had to regroup as well. All across the planet, a bloody stalemate set in. Minor battles and struggles for individual hills and villages took place every day, but both sides had to regather their might before any new offensive could be contemplated. It would be the Orcs who struck first. High Command had come to place a great deal of trust into the Revelation line, which had held the foe at bay for over half a year. As such, many of the forces who once held this line had been redirected to more pressing fronts. In hindsight, it was not unsurprising that the Greenskins would break this weakened obstacle. The formidable Revelation line had become a focus point for Imperial propaganda, and the shock was great when the line, which had been touted as impregnable, was breached in less than a month. Soon after, all hope was lost. The Orcs drove through the streets and cities and slaughtered uncountable people. The Revelation line held for as long as it could. We did save people by sacrificing our lives. We did as we were ordered and got much of the world's military equipment and resources off-world. Our commissars have said that getting off-planet is a victory for us in the long term. I just don't see it. I just remember seeing the Orcs massacring innocent people while I was carried away off-planet.